So today we'll be looking at how we can create different types of animations using Blender and Sollumz. First of all, we're going to start with Ped Animations since those are the most simplest ones. And for that, we just hop into our CodeWalker RPF Explorer and search for mpf free mode _01.yft. So once you've got the YFT of the ped, you can just right click and export as XML. Just select path. And then we can just right click and open file location and search for mpf free mode folder. And then we need to export some of the components so that we can view our ped properly in Blender. So we can just export few of the components such as feet, head component, jbib, lower component, and upper component. So once you have selected all these, right click and export as XML, and make sure to export these at the same location where we exported the YFT earlier. And then we can just import all of these in Blender. So just open up our Sollumz panel, import CodeWalker XML, just select a folder path, select all the ydd.xmls, and make sure that you have selected the import external skeleton button over here. And then we just import all of these. Next, what we want to do is join all of these meshes to our head mesh. So what we can do is just select each of these mesh and then select the head at last and press Ctrl+J. Next, we can just go ahead and delete all of these components. So just right click and delete hierarchy. And now if we just look at our hierarchy over here, we have two skeletons. So what we can do is just hide the YDD skeleton over here. So just click on this I button. And now we can just select the skeleton in the viewport, go to pose mode and test start our skeleton. So it works fine now. We can just start animating our ped. So let's just set up a few keyframes. Just going to start with both of these arms. If you want, you can set both location and rotation. If you are, let's say, creating a full-on animation which includes moving, make sure to set both the location and the rotation keyframes. But for now, I'm just setting the rotation. So it's something like this. A very simple animation. Now what we can do is just create our YCD. So if you open up our Sollumz panel, and if you just click on the animations tab, click on create clip dictionary template, then just select the template, click create clip and create animation. Next, what we want to do is set our armature or the source of the animation, which can either be armature, a camera or a material. For now, we want to set our armature as our ped skeleton. So just make sure that armature is selected and then just select the armature, which is going to be our head scale. Make sure to select the clip dictionary and click set animation target. Next, we just click on our animation, go to Sollumz properties, select our action, which is this. You can see the name of the action over here. For the hash, we can just set it as test anim. For clip, go to hash, same name. For the name, we can just put the same name dot clip. Click on linked animations, click new, select the animation, and for time duration, we can just select the total frames, which is 60 divided by 30 frames. Now we can just name whatever we want. So let's say clip@tutorial. And we can just go ahead and export this. Next, moving on to our prop animations. So for the prop animations, we first want to have a prop. So let's create that. And I'm just going to use our monkey for now. And let's say I want to have an ear animation in which the ears move. So for the prop animation, we first need to have a proper armature. So let's add some bones to this armature. So once you have set up your armature, we want to have a proper weight painting for our prop. So let's do that. What we can do is just select our mesh, select our armature, press Ctrl P and have our automatic weights. You can go ahead and manually weight paint, but I'm just fine with this for now. And if we just test our animation, it looks something like this. So once we have our armature and mesh setup, we want to convert it to proper Sollumz type. So first of all, select the armature, go to object properties, and in the Sollumz panel, change the none to drawable. For the mesh, open up our Sollumz panel, go to drawables, go to create drawable objects, click on create drawable model. Now let's add a shader. Let's create a default shader for monkey. Let's add a texture. And now what we want to do is name our bones properly. So let's name this to root, name this to bone left, bone right, bone left ear, and bone right ear. And if you just look under the bone properties panel, we have automatic calculations for a bone tag. So let's go to pose mode. First of all, select the bones which you want to animate. In this case, that's going to be our ear bones. So this and this. So first what you need to do is go to Sollumz panel, click on bone tools, and make sure to add bone flags. So we can just add rotation since we only want to have rotated animations. But if you want to have all the type of animations such as rotation and location, you want to click on rotation and translation. And if we just go back to our object mode, we'll see that we have some flags over here which are necessary for having prop animations. Next, let's go ahead and animate our mesh. So it's a basic simple animation. So once you have created the animation for your prop, what you want to do is select your mesh, go to object properties, go to LOD properties, set the flag to 1, and for unknown one, make sure to set the value to the bone count. So I have over here total of 5 bones. So I'm just going to set the unknown one to 5. Next, let's just give it a proper name. So let's say prop anim, and let's create an animation for it. So just go to animation, create clip dictionary template. Let's rename it to clip at prop anim. Create clip, create animation, set the armature source, which is going to be our armature. Make sure to select the clip dictionary first and then set target animation. Under animations, let's fill our hash, select the action, which is going to be our armature action. Under clip, let's put the same name and name dot clip. Make sure to create a new linked animation and let's set the duration. Let me just embed the texture so that it's easier to view in the CodeWalker and game. And let's just export it. Export XML. And next, what we want to do is create an archetype for it. So let's just select the prop, click on auto create. Under the flags, make sure to enable bone anims. And under the clip dictionary, just make sure to copy the clip dictionary name and export the Y type. Now we can look at how we can create UV animations or texture animations. So let's go ahead with that. So for UV animations, let's create a simple plane. Apply all the transforms if you have rotated the mesh. Let's convert it to a proper drawable. So just select the mesh, go to drawable tools, and click on convert to drawable. Let's rename it to something like prop UV anim. Select your mesh. Under the shader tools, let's create some kind of shader, let's say such as emissive. And once we have created the shader, let's also set up our texture for it. And let's make sure it has proper UV mapping. So let's just scale it down a little bit. Let's start from here. And then for animation, we just go to our material. We just go to a material window. Under Sollumz panel, select the animation track and click on this plus icon. Next, we can select translate, rotate, scale, shear, and reflect. So let's just start by translating. Next, move to 30 frames. And let's say I want to move on x-axis. Let's say you also want to add rotation keyframe. So just create a new channel, change the translate to rotate. Let's just go back to first keyframe, insert the keyframe. And we can also animate that. So it will be something like this. And like that, we can also add rotation, scale, shear, and reflect again and again, as long as you want. But we're fine with these two for now. So once we are done with our UV animation, we want to create a clip dictionary. But instead of creating a new clip dictionary, we can also use an existing clip dictionary, such as this one, which we have already created for a prop. So let me just hide this. And let's say we want to create a UV animation in the existing clip dictionary. So just click on animation, create clip, create animation, select animation, go to object properties. Under the target, change it to material and change the material to emissive, which is used by our mesh. So just make sure that you are using the correct material over here. And for action, we have our emissive action. Go to clip, create a new linked animation and select the animation. The hash will be autofilled. If it's not, just click on refresh. Under the name, we can just give it our prop name. So prop uvganim.clip. For duration, it is going to be 2 seconds. And under animation, let's give it the same name. Then we can just export this YCD and add our UV anim prop to our archetype. So let's click on the prop, click on auto create, fill up the clip dictionary, and under the flags for UV anim, make sure to select UV anims and export the Y type. Let's also export our prop. And let's import all of these to our CodeWalker. In order to have proper animation viewable in CodeWalker, it is best to import in some kind of RPF. I'm just going to drag all of my XMLs, such as our clip, our prop anim YDR, YType, prop UV anim, and our RPF. And let's just also import our Ped Animation. And then what we can do is just restart a CodeWalker in order to view it properly. So we can just open up our RPF. If we just view it, everything seems to be fine. You can also view the UV animation, but it's sometimes misleading in CodeWalker, so it's best to test in game. So let's just export all of these files to our stream server. So I have already created my resource over here. Just put all of these files into your stream folder. And let's just open up our CodeWalker and start placing all of these in a YMap. Once CodeWalker is loaded, just click on project window, files, open files, and select all of the files. Click on open. Let's create a new Y map. Let's name it to something like tutorial. Click on Y map, new entities, and change the archetype to a prop name. So let's set up our prop anim. And let's duplicate that and change it to prop UV anim. So we have both of these animation props placed over here in the Y map. So just export Y map, tools, generate manifest, save manifest, and put it in the stream folder as well. And let's just start our server. So once we are loaded in our server, let's check if our animations work fine or not. So our prop animation seems to work fine, and so does our UV animation. Let's test our Ped animation as well. So I have already created a command to test the animation, and it seems to work fine as well. You can use any external tool such as DP modes or any such tool to play the animation, but it will work fine. So everything seems to work fine. And if you like the video, make sure to drop a like. If you have any questions, I'll drop the link of Sollumz Discord down in the description. You can check that out. And if you like my tutorials, you can support me by donating on my Ko-fi. And I'll see you next time.